Good evening, students. Today we've got a quick review for population pyramids. Let's kick it off by remembering what the different groups are for population pyramids. First of all, we have 0 to 17 years old. Well, these people are very young. So what we're going to need for young'uns, first and foremost, we have education. We also have childcare. Next to that, we've got the 18-year-olds through the 64-year-olds. And when they turn 18, they're kind of middle, right in the middle. And these guys, these are the ones that are doing all the work. So what we need more than anything is jobs and how to get them. Once you turn 64, it's 65 and up, that's when you have kind of the elderly. And they're classified this way because at that time you can start collecting your retirement funds. And so the elderly, what we need specifically are health care. So we have to be able to access that a lot. And we also need access to retirement homes. So this is kind of what you want to look for in the graph. If you've got a big bulge in the 16 to 84 range, that's about 20 years away from making it to elderly, that means that we need to start preparing and creating more elderly health care programs, as well as more retirement programs. Let's talk about what each of the different shapes of the graph mean. Now remember, inside each one of these you've got a line down the middle, and then you have this many men, and at that age this many. So the lines may not line up exactly, but if you draw an average and it looks like a triangle, that means that you have a rapid growth. And if we think about these like a house, the rapid growth looks like you just have a roof. That doesn't look like you've got much of the house done, so it's time to start building, and it's time to start building faster. We don't have enough people to fill the resources, so we continuously produce. This is commonly seen in developing countries. Because just like your house, it's not quite finished being built. So you have to keep going. Next up we have the standard. This is the small growth. Now with small growth, again, you tend to have people on one side or the other of these lines, but they stay pretty close if you draw an average. So with small growth, you have your gradual decline at the end, because towards after about 50, you always see kind of a decline in the pyramid. But at about 50 and below, it kind of straightens out. It has a very average line, and if there is any growth, it's very small. This is seen in developed countries. Again, if we looked at our population pyramid like a house, this one kind of looks like you've got a completed house right there if you just stretch these lines a little further. So if your house is done, you won't really keep building. Every once in a while you might have to renovate, but for the most part you're pretty developed. So next up we actually have what's called the negative growth. And as you can see, again, you've got your gradual decline right up here. But instead of flattening out like the small growth does, the negative growth seems to be collapsing in on itself. We have less people being born than we already have. So it kind of in effect looks like a kite. But if you look at this like a house, it doesn't really look like a house you want to live in anymore. It looks like a house that's about to fall down. And that's exactly what's going to be happening in these countries if you look at the countries with negative growth graphs. It seems like their economy is falling apart. They don't have enough resources, so they don't have the ability to take care of any new children. So the birth rate gradually declines. This is seen in countries with trouble. And they're pretty rare whenever you're looking at graphs. Keep in mind with these you're looking for the average, so kind of find the middle line, and sometimes down here it'll dip just a little bit, but keep in mind where that average line is. Well, I hope you remember this well for tomorrow, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I'll see you in the morning.